getting Good morning and welcome to Ikon Park. It's preliminary final day here in the NAB League Under-18 competition. My name's Phil Crooks. Today we've got two sensational games. The Oakleigh Chargers taking on the Sandringham Dragons. I'm joined high up on the stand on the wing with my co-commentator Rick Morris. How are you, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going well, Crooksy, and looking forward to what a perfect day's footy. And I can tell you firsthand, had a bit of a walk on that ground this morning. It's as good as I can remember at Ikon Park here. The surface, the grass is a bit longer, and it's in just terrific nick.
Absolutely perfect. And you can just the look of it from down here is just sensational. We're joined in the special comments today by Peter Williams. How are you, Pete?
Yeah, really good, thanks, Crooksy. Looking forward to a couple of terrific games of action.
And down on the boundary, we might be just having a little bit of audio issues with Siobhan. I'm hoping Siobhan can hear me, not looking at the moment. We've got her down there. We're going to fix up the audio for her so she can pick us up. And it looks like they're going to have a national anthem and maybe a few words about the tragedy of Danny Frawley during the week as the two teams are assembling, and Paul Hamilton is the man with microphone in hand, just greeting all the umpires. Siobhan down there. Nah, not quite picking us up yet.
Yeah, we have cleaned out of that side thing. Oh, thank you. You want to start?
We'll wait for the formalities before we get in to talk about the teams today. No Power Ranger stances here, boys. By the look of it. Yes.
The Australian Football League welcomes you to the final between the Oakleigh Chargers and the Sandringham Dragons. The AFL acknowledges the Wurundjeri people and the traditional owners of the land we gather on today, and pay our respect, past, present and emerging. We acknowledge we play our great game on this land and respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and contribution to the game of Australian rules football. If you would all be upstanding and join together for a moment of silence to remember a friend who we lost this week. A friend to so many. A friend to the game, a husband, a father, a mate. Danny Spud Frawley. Thank you.
Well done, boys, and Paul Hamilton there. Okay, so we saw these two teams play in round 17 down at Werribee, and one of the better under-18 games we've seen.
Yeah, it was a thriller, and Oakleigh had Sandringham had a big lead, wasn't it?
Yeah,
29 points coming into last quarter, and Oakleigh showed their class getting over the top in a close one.
All right, down on the ground, Siobhan.
The weather conditions down on the ground are absolutely perfect. You can certainly smell September in the air. No breeze, the sun is shining down on the players. The ground is in perfect condition, even though we have had quite a few finals played on this deck. The conditions could not be any more perfect for a brilliant preliminary final between two teams that we know have quite a few national combine invites, state combine invites, and plenty of talent out on the park. And the conditions today will provide no excuses for a game filled with plenty of skill and class.
Good work down there, Siobhan. She's got a lovely spot. I hope she's brought the sun cream. The sun cream today, because it is absolutely perfect. Peter, everyone's going to be interested in number 9 and at number 11 and number 8 for Oakleigh, because they're well done. So we want to focus. We know they'll go 1 and 2. We want to focus today on a few others that are hidden away. Maybe not hidden, but just not on Broadway.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's potentially 19 players that are playing this game that could end up at AFL homes at the end of the year. It's a really talent-filled game, and one that I think a lot of clubs would be looking forward to. Every recruiter will be out here trying to work out where they want to go, not just also for this year, but there's some top-end talent for next year, and even under-16s have been listed as well. There's next generation academies, there's father-son prospects. It's just remarkable, really, and both teams have quite a few gems that could end up going, say, mid-draft, that could end up being quite good players.
Both teams have known premiership success in this decade as well, so they're both used to playing well on this stage. It's interesting that I think after that round 17 clash, it was sort of a bit of a feel that, gee, this would be good if these two teams meet on the last day of the season, but now they're meeting in the preliminary final. We'll see how that works out. Now, Sandringham are going to be kicking to the Lygon Street end, or left of screen. If you're watching through the app, which you will be watching through the app, there's nowhere else to watch it, and Oakleigh will be going to the Royal Parade end. We've got Nick Bryan in the ruck for Oakleigh, 202 and 87 kilos. The umpire looks around. Is it Andrew Courtney?
Andrew Courtney.
All right, preliminary final number 1, Oakleigh versus Sandringham. Take it away, Rick.
Up they go, and Courtney got a hand on it, and we've got a bunch of players trying to get in there, and Anderson with the first possession of the game comes in. Big pack of players, just forward of centre for Sandringham, around that edge of the centre square, and we'll have a ball up. City side of the ground, Bryan with the height, gets it down. They've got runners out wide. Chipped a wide that time by Schreiber, gets it over towards the centre wing, and race on our hands, play on's the call, and eventually over the line. And they're asking for an out in the full, but no thank you. So Sandy in the predominant white strip. Some of the AFL clubs could have a look at this game and see what contrast's about. Down it goes. Oh, well done there, working his way through. Guiney gets it forward, and at half forward they'll play on straight away, Oakleigh. But we've got an intercept mark there at centre half back, and that was taken by Corey Watts, been a really good defender over the last couple of years for Sandy. Gets it to Churgwin. They'll go through centre half back through Butler, but a good smother, shirked away by May, gets it inboard, but they can't break away. They got numbers back there, the Dragons, and they should be able to clear with some clever play by Voss to the outer side of the ground, but the mark is spilt, spells danger, chip to the forward line, and out in front, taking it nicely is Hugo Fagan. Good to see him getting an early touch.
Yeah.
Class player.
Yeah, Western Bulldogs Next Generation Academy, the way he's tracking next year, potential first-round pick. So still very raw, and sometimes his set shot goal kicking could go anywhere from the middle to about the third row back. So it'll be interesting here, but he's got plenty of talent, very raw potential.
Jamara Ugle-Hagan comes in on the left, got a bit close to the mark, but that's a nice kick to start the game from the angle, and drawing first blood, the Oakleigh Chargers, 1 goal straight 6, and Sandringham yet to score.
Of course, he'll be featuring in the Young Guns game at the MCG on Grand Final Day.
Yeah, he's one of the better tall prospects for next year. Similar to this year, there aren't a heap of tall prospects like we were blessed with last year, but he's certainly one to keep an eye on, especially for Western Bulldogs fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with the picks next year. Originally with North Ballarat, Ugle-Hagan. Yeah, he was, and then he obviously he's been boarding down there. I think it's Scotch, and made the switch to Oakleigh. So he's been playing there this year.
Ball thrown up in the middle. Oh, nice getaway for Sandringham through McGuinness. Kicks to half forward City side. Loose footy. Worked by hand with Hanrahan. close to the boundary line and out of bounds. You can follow all the stats, keep up to date with all the scores, the goal kickers on the NAB League app. Just click on Match Centre, which is what I'm doing right now. Keep the time clock going. Little volley kick out of the ruck there for Sandringham. They punch inside 50. Ball on the deck, picked up one hand. Now a quick kick, rolling across the face, through for behind. Sandringham's first score. You're on one behind, Oakleigh on 1 goal.
Certainly a healthy crowd starting to build at the ground as well.
Perfect. Now the Chargers through Vincent Zagari. Kicks out. Oh, my goodness. He got up high. Couldn't take the ball with him. It's a scramble out. Ball still in dispute. They tap it forward. Now good work by hand to Anderson. That might have been deemed a throw. Not paid. They work it backwards. No one with great control. Now they get it out. Comes through. Oakleigh on the overlap. Gets it to Graham. Long kick for goal. Straight through the middle.
We like that off the boot.
He he hit the sweet spot there. That was like a one would. Rick just got right in the middle and just kept going. Their second goal on the NAB League scoreboard. 2 goals straight to one behind. Interesting
Here, I'm just looking at the matchups. On the wing, Trent Bianco was matched up by Nick Burke, who's a renowned. We don't have tagging, but he plays very strongly defensively, very close.
Run with players.
Yeah, and then Bianco's just signalled to his teammate, I'm going to the other wing. So he's actually gone and then sent Fraser Elliott, a bottom ager, to this wing. So he's actually got off him, which is interesting.
You'd think he'd just follow him, Pete.
Yeah, he's just told him, no, you come over this wing.
Anyway, back in the middle. Brian gets a fingertip on it, but it'll be sharked away by the Dragon. Down to full forward. Oh, good body work in defence that time. And the Chargers repel. That was a nice work by Mastra. Solid lad. Gets it down towards half-back. They almost spoiled each other, but a nice take by Schreiber. Half-back. They're all the play on that outer wing at the moment. There's a contest here. They bring it to ground. All Dragons should be able to clear. They get it, dribble it forward. That was a pretty aggressive tackle, but Oakleigh should be able to get it away, and they do. They're making the running at the minute. They go through the middle of the ground, down towards the one-on-one at half forward, brought to ground, nicely tapped down, picked up that time and worked forward. Over the top it goes, the kick from Elliott, but eventually it'll be cleared if this is handled right. He's kicked it behind.
He's kicked goal of the year.
I've got no idea where that ball was intended, because the kick was going to be about 12 metres anyway. But you're right. That's a tactic they could use from now on, Crooksy. I think we've discovered something.
Or is that a free kick? Was he under pressure?
Yeah, he was under pressure.
Okay. Ball brought in. Darcy Churgwin comes to the northern side of the ground. Jackson Voss on the left foot lays back, kicks it to centre wing. Defensive punch. Oh, nice wrap-up tackle there. Now the Dragons, they can get one free. They go forward through Burns. Got a man all on his own. He spotted him up. Oscar Lewis, who's on a 45-degree angle. He'll kick from 38 metres out.
It was great talk by the skipper in Burns there to get that handball over the top, because Ralph Smith was unsighted and just knew where his man was. Great handball.
Yeah, it's quite interesting seeing that play. They had the extra, the overlap player in that section of the ground, so they took full advantage. Once Burns got away, he got it to Lewis. Oscar Lewis, the left footer, had a slice.
Kick like a backman.
We've used the golf analogy twice now. That was like a 5-iron from me. Just kept going wide, missed the target. Oakleigh to bring the ball back in. They kick to the northern side. Up they go. Spilt ball, slung in a tackle. Anderson couldn't get it out to an Oakleigh player. They butter up. Yeah, that's a handball in Hope. Don't know if they're doing this too methodically, but they're getting the ball forward, trapped underneath. Quick hands. Around they come. Still loose footy. Anderson, quick hands. Now they get it across to Laurie. Laurie got a man free. McRae, spearing kick to Ugle-Hagan. 2 bites of the cherry and he's marked it.
Are we seeing a video of McRae from another McRae? Very similar.
Yes.
It's like a video replay of a few years ago.
Yeah, they've probably got some similar genes too, I'd say.
And Jackson, and what's this young fellow's name? Finlay McRae. But this is the guy we're talking about, Jamara Ugle-Hagan. He's going to kick this from 30 metres out directly in front to the Royal Parade end. Already got one on the board. Skips in, kicks, makes the umpire work, and just to the right, through for a behind.
Although he's missed that set shot on goal, he's well and truly an imposing figure in the forward line, and even against Gippsland the other week, he was certainly one of those players that they kicked to. And as we can see so far, the game's being played very quickly, but Oakleigh are making the most of the ball use with the fast play.
Brian gets it down, but no, the mark's been paid to his opposition ruckman in Courtney. Juggled it at half-back, kicks a high ball, just under the commentary. Bit of scragging there, but eventually it's loose. Kick forward by York. Juggling attempt. Ralph Smith can't gather it. It's on the boundary, still alive. Mattress kept it in play. Have they got the numbers? They've got the numbers, but Sandringham pressing up beautifully. Just putting the pressure on, and it was taken by Lucas this time. Intercept here. Now they'll have a shot on goal, and a goal that went begging there by Gray.
George Gray. There's not. I
An
don't think
old-fashioned
I've called
name,
too many Georges in my time in under 18 footy, Rick.
Exactly right. A bit of an old-fashioned name. And I tell you, Pete, the pressure of Sandringham in the back half of or their forward half, just holding up Oakleigh at the moment.
Yeah, there seems to be good pressure around the ground. It's great to see because they definitely need it against Oakleigh, who are, a great pressure team themselves. We both know they can both use it, but it's interesting to see. And there's quite a few names like Reef McInnes there. He's another name you wouldn't call too often, I don't think. Crooksy,
No, Reef and George.
Yep.
Not too bad. The ball goes forward. Oh, nice mark taken. Right on the 50-metre line.
Ralph Smith again, is it?
Let me pick him up. It's a long kick up forward. It's on target, and it's a goal. That is Hugo.
Yep.
Hugo Ralph Smith, son of Sean Ralph Smith.
He kicked 3 goals in the first quarter last week. Certainly an important player up forward. Often works well with Miles Bergman back there. They're both sort of blonde marking forwards who can also get it done at ground level. So it's quite interesting. But the depth of Oakleigh across the midfield is ridiculous because, as I mentioned, Reef McInnes, he's playing as a sort of deep defender or half-back, number 39 over there. Collingwood NGA, potential first-round pick next year. And they've just got the luxury of playing him off a half-back. He's technically an inside midfielder. So that's just how good Oakleigh are in that midfield.
Back in the middle, and Ralph Smith started the game beautifully, and that kick went all of 56 metres. Ball tapped down, favouring the Dragons here, but it's loose and it's anyone's ball. It's back in the middle of the ground and sharked away by Lochnan wearing 74, and they'll kick it long, the Dragons, down to full forward. Ball spoilt, the ball's alive again. They just need a clear kick, and that was a high tackle.
Very late call.
Yeah.
Kyle, who's
Campbell
Chesser.
So he's a under-16s player. We've seen plenty of 16-year-olds make their mark in the final series. So he's he's an interesting one. He's up from Shepparton way, but he's boarding down in the city, so he's aligned with Sandringham.
And Chesser will kick from 47 metres out. And got a bit under it, and it's in the square, brought to ground. Could get a little snap out of this, but good pressure by the defenders. And incorrect disposal, I would have thought. And Oakleigh with the ball in the goal square. Schreiber gets it down or out wide to a contest, all Sandringham. She'll be able to get it clear. Now they've got it back. A bit of a fumble by Shergwin. Gets it back inboard. Centre half forward for the Dragons. They boot it towards the goal square again, but Oakleigh with the numbers will clear. Again, Sandringham building a wall. Gets it back to Shergwin, who kicks long. Full forward, up they go. They bring it to ground. Ball hits the deck. Oakleigh again getting it out in numbers, but they're pressuring here the Dragons. Well done to hold it up, and we'll have a ball up 35 out from goal.
It's kamikaze handball in close, isn't it? The Oakleigh boys are under a stack of pressure. This ball to be thrown up. We are 30 metres out from Sandy's goal. They're going to the Lygon Street end. Ball on the deck. And a scrum develops. The umpire will come in and repeat the process. Very entertaining.
Good game so far,
yeah,
Crooksy.
very entertaining first quarter.
Preliminary final day, one of the best
It
of the
is,
year.
isn't it?
Up they go. Tap down. Oakleigh have got numbers at the back. Varagianis kicks out wide. Smother on the boundary. Got some people, some teammates to help. They get it across. Now, clearing kick to centre wing. They need a mark. It falls short. Again, the quick handball away. That's smothered. The pressure's applied again. They're squeezed, tackled, dispossessed, and holding the ball. Great work by Sandringham.
Oakleigh are trying to get players off. They've got Brian, Rowell, Anderson and Bianco all on the bench, and the ball's over the other side of the ground.
Hanrahan has sent it forward. Oakleigh repel, kick to centre wing, and the mark is taken. They need to settle, and they need to bring the play over to this side of the
because
ground.
they're all waiting to come on. They've
Two-
got one switching.
Here we are. We've got one interchange.
I think they're enjoying that nice Melbourne skyline over there.
It's a beautiful view. Absolutely sensational.
We'll
from
see
here.
if we can get some action happening, Crooksy, at the outer side of the ground. And we've got Graham in the front. They work it down. Sandringham attempting to clear it, but Oakleigh with numbers again, get it over the back. They'll work it clear. I tell you, the coaches will be loving the smothers that are going on out here. It's their favourite part of the game, I believe. They get it down towards centre half forward. Ball, sharked away. He went without it. Now they've got a chance on goal, and it's kicked and hit the post.
A quick injury update from ground level. Fraser Elliott is currently getting some work done on his right leg. Not quite sure whether it's a calf or hamstring, but being attended to by the trainers now.
Just something for you to ponder, Rick. Fraser Elliott, is that 2 first names or 2 last names?
Yeah.
I think he's got something each way.
Yeah, a bit of both. I think we often get 2 first names, but
that's one of each
definitely
of 2.
both for that one.
All
now,
right. They kick
intercept.
forward. Intercept mark to Darcy Churgwin on half-back. He switches play. It is not a clean kick. Stathopoulos gets it. Collard holding the ball. Good stuff.
He needed the handball. Bailey Laurie was inboard in a bit of space. He needed a handball it there.
Lochnan clears to half-back. Evades. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Plenty of Oakleigh jumpers in there. Trying to get now, they can go back. Rowell flicks the handball out. Caught flat-footed, Collard again. Tackling superb in this game. Again, they work it out wide. Not much there. Needs to. Plays on. Now they can go forward, Sandringham. Goes forward by Burke. Going to come back the other way. Tackle applied to Bianco. Might have been high. Seemed to have him around the shoulder.
Certainly a lot of fielding in this game as well, but plenty of tackles and smothers, which would be very impressive to both sides' coaching panel.
That was definitely the he made sure he tried to make him look there with the slight drop of the shoulder.
Up they go. Again, Bianco kicks it along the carpet. Plenty of Dragons trying to keep cool under pressure. Easier said than done. Oakleigh tunnel ball the ball out. Ball loose. Players sprawl. They're underneath it, rolled, and the umpire will come in. Give the ball to Siobhan to ball it up.
Telling you, I'm only a few metres from a touch. Definitely plenty of physicality in this game.
Up they go. Tap down, lost. Eventually a quick kick out, and mark taken there by Mifsud. They play on straight away. Oh, slips at the most inopportune time. Rowell intercepts, feeds the handball backwards. He spots up Varajanis, and just a little bit of how do you do on the boundary line. Not too much there. The ball will be thrown in on the 50-metre arc, Rick.
Liking the way Sandy are going about their work at the moment. They bring it in on the arc. Brian to the front. Again, Oakleigh defence working well. Get it to a contested centre wing. They were able to shark it away again here, and they've got an inside 50 entry coming up this time through Gray. Gets it towards full forward. Juggling attempt. He went without it that time. That was McGuinness. They got a shot on goal here, or in the square. The mark juggled.
And that's why you play in front.
Exactly right. Some things never change in the game, Peter.
That's
York, who we've seen a bit of, like his style there in the forward line, and York will have a shot on goal from 20 metres out directly in front, and I'm writing this one down, boys.
I wouldn't just yet. Have you seen York's goal kicking?
He's not missing this, Pete.
He shouldn't, but if there's a player that might...
Comes in 20 metres out and puts it straight through the middle. And good start by Sandringham. They've got their energy levels up and really putting the pressure on after a couple of early goals to Oakleigh.
I'd say he probably would have won the leading goal kicker if he'd kicked straighter throughout the season. He had bags of like 4-6 and 3-5, and he had a lot of scoring shots. He might have had the most scoring shots of anyone, I think. So definitely a sort of exciting player. He got a state combine invite, so he's copped a bit of interest, which is good.
12 inside 50s to 7, Sandringham's way. 13 tackles to 8, 11 hit-outs to 2, Oakleigh's way. As Sandringham look to get the clearance, it's a bit snaffled. Rowell feeds it backwards. Eventually they get it to Mastras. Goes to centre wing, ball in dispute. Good work by Sandringham. Again, they've got the numbers. Butler to run onto it. He's got some help if he can get it out. Good defensive work by Oakleigh. Sees the ball over the boundary line, out of bounds, half forward.
That was a massive win for Oakleigh. It was 1-on-3 around that ball, so to just get it out means they reset.
20 minutes 33, 20 and a half minutes into this first term. 2-3-15 to 2-2-14. Great game of under-18 footy, living up to all expectations as the ball is on the ground again. Players on top. No one can get a decent clearance. Umpire comes in. Throw a blanket over about 15 or 16 of them here. Tapped up, intercepted again. Dirty disposal has sort of got to come out. Now Oakleigh have got the numbers and they've got some green grass in front of them. Looping handball over the top. They run through 50. They're looking for Ugle-Hagan, and he's got one grab. Sticky fingers. Marked the ball at its highest point, and he's marked this 25 metres out. He'll probably kick from 28.
Yeah, the kick from Bianco was just spot on, and that's why Bianco wants to get to that free wing, playing opposed to Angus Hanrahan, who both, to be fair, their skills are their outside game, and they're probably not going to be too focused on each other. They can play a bit of that inside, but they're definitely predominantly outside.
Ugle-Hagan comes in and slots it through. That's his second, Oakleigh's third. They move on to 3 goals to 20. Sandringham are 2-3-15. And we are 21 minutes in, 22 and a half minutes in to the first quarter. And of course, boys, we want to thank our naming rights and principal partner, NAB, National Australia Bank, Open Universities Australia, our education partner, Telstra, our digital partner, Puma, our apparel partner, Rookie Me, the testing partner, and our nutrition partner, which you and I need plenty of, Rick, the bar counter.
Fair enough. Back in the middle, Brian, an imposing figure up against Courtney, who got the leap in. Nice knockdown, and we'll have another ball up. back in the square. Middle of the ground. Up they go. Bit of wrestling. Courtney again. Gets it down to Churgwin, who tries to break through. Can't get away. And we're just forward into Oakleigh's territory. A few metres. Third ball up. And Courtney's won 3 in a row there. Excellent work. But Oakleigh have picked the ball up. Oh, there's a smother by Gray. He gets it down towards half forward now. And a great intercept mark down in defence by Guiney. He'll go wide, outer side wing. He's a 2-on-1. He got pushed into it. They allow it to go further towards the boundary line. And again, a little intercept, but not for long. And we'll have a ball up.
Was that a smother or a mark?
It was a bit of both, wasn't it?
Didn't go the required distance, of course. Great skill.
So the outer side of the ground. The two big ruckmen, which is a really good duel so far. Brian wanting a free, but shucked away by Butler, who gets it forward. Bouncing around the 50. Can't break away, Oakleigh, and the umpires let him go. Eventually they steal it out the back. Again, no clear winner except McGuinness, who dribbles it forward. Didn't get away with it. And there's some gang tackling going on out there. The umpire's giving him an eternity, but eventually he'll have to come in and ball it up.
They've switched the forward line look up for Oakleigh. Ugle-Hagan, the siren's gone now, but Ugle-Hagan's pushed up to the wing and Cooper Sharman's gone deep.
All right, quarter time, and the score is Oakleigh 3 goals to 20, Sandringham at 2-3, 15. The goal kickers for the Chargers, Ugle-Hagan has 2, Graham has 1, and for Sandringham, Bergman and York 1 apiece. We will take a quick break, and on the other side of this, Siobhan will be out in the middle. She'll be having a chat to Jai Bond from the Oakleigh Chargers. We'll be back on the other side of this. Right, back here at Ikon Park, it is quarter time. Very entertaining first quarter. Siobhan's down on the ground, just waiting for Jai Bond. Let's see if you can hear us, Siobhan.
Can hear you guys. Just having a listen to what's going on in the huddle, certainly a tight-knit group. They've been talking a lot about how Sandringham haven't necessarily made the most of their forward opportunities, and that the pressure that they're applying is certainly causing Sandringham to make some decisions that are un-Sandringham-like.
It's very interesting. Fraser Elliott had the ice on the hamstring, so it'd be interesting to see what his progress is.
Yeah, we're just waiting for there. It was such a chaotic first quarter. The better players, who stood out for you, Pete?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I feel like there wasn't massive standout players. Like, I thought players had moments. Like, you saw Rao winning the ball. You saw Bianco having those nice kicks. Like, Oakleigh obviously probably had the most impact because he kicked a couple of goals and kicked it behind. Could have had 3. But it was really an even performance across the board.
And down on the ground, Siobhan just about to grab Jai Bond.
Yeah, with Jai Bond, the talent manager of the Oakleigh Chargers. Brilliant conditions, close game. September's certainly in the air.
Oh, exactly right. You couldn't wish for a better day today. Our boys are excited. You know, it's a perfect summer atmosphere and good conditions. So, as you've seen from the first quarter, it's pretty contested and pretty even game so far.
The conditions are certainly favouring Jamara Ugle-Hagan and the big forwards out there. It's nice for the midfield group such as Rao and Anderson to be kicking to him.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, it's a forward's dream when you wake up and see the weather like this. And Jamara, you know, has got such big long levers and presents the ball so well. You know, if I was a forward, I'd be loving this weather too.
How much confidence do you take out of that comeback in round 17?
Yeah, look, we're a really tight group, and we know that we finished strongly. So we know the boys know that they're always in it, and we do come home strongly. So we've got a fair bit of confidence that, you know, no matter where the game's at, we can come home strongly.
I'll let you go. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Good work, Siobhan. And just the leading possession getters on the ground, boys. Schreiber with 11. Schreiber from Oakleigh with 11. Shergwin from Sandringham with 10. And Bianco with 9.
Yep, no surprise there. Shergwin's been in a fair bit, and Schreiber's been playing pretty deep and getting a fair bit of it.
So Sandringham with the 13 inside 50s to 8, yet trail by 5 behinds. 5 points.
Yeah, they were catching up from the couple of goals early in the piece to Oakleigh. And I think they've worked really hard, Sandringham, and kept pumping it forward. I think across half forward and centre wings where they've been able to trap the ball in and bring it back inside 50. But now we've got it in the middle, and a quick kick out by Rao down towards centre half forward. They bring it to ground. Oh, there's McRae on the left. Goes for goal. Oh. He might have got it over the fingertips. The backman saying, I touched it, but you never trust a backman. And through it goes.
Mate, can we send that one to the arc?
He was not convincing at all. He fell over and went like this. The second the umpire went, nah, he's like, all right, and walked off. So that was not very convincing.
It's almost like getting an edge when they have to refer to the... What was that one last night at Warner's?
I was out last
night. You
night.
missed that one. How he was given out's beyond me anyway.
Oh, no, he got an edge.
No,
what do you call that thing?
You don't trust sound. I'd rather see the hotspot, thank you. And we could do that on the fingers of the players too.
We could. As the ball is bounced in the middle, caught up, wrapped up in a tackle, that'll be thrown up again, right in the middle. Second quarter action. Oakleigh out of the gates pretty quickly there. Goal on the board. Get a nice little 11-point lead early doors. Sandringham would want to get the next one, I reckon. As they stream forward through the skipper in Burns. Kicks it high, but the man in front, good defence. Rel Smith saying kick it up high, but he wasn't there. Oakleigh. They go out wide. They're on the city side of the ground. Kick to centre wing. Intercept mark, Voss. Goes inboard. They work it by hand. Need to be quick. Slippery kick, misses the mark. Now Oakleigh. Long, searching kick up forward. It's all Sandringham. And a safe pair of hands. They bring it out wide to the northern side of the ground. Mark taken by Bowie. Bowie, did he mean that?
Yeah, he meant it,
He
but
did. Kicked
wasn't
on the
very
outside
well
of his-
done. He tried to pass it on the outside of his boot and poorly executed.
Fraser Elliott still getting some work done on his leg. I was meaning to ask Strybon before he had to go whether or not he'll come back on the ground, but it's looking unlikely at this point with the trainer having a word to him, with him looking in a little bit of discomfort on the boundary line.
As long as he hasn't got the ice on, he might be half a chance.
Or either that or he's on his way to Germany, Rick.
Exactly.
As the ball is kicked into the middle, into the centre square, Sandringham go forward to come back. Lochnan goes out wide and hits up Voss. Voss fumbles but still gets the kick away. Bit of a chaos ball close to the boundary line and out of bounds. Half forward flank right in front of the old Richard Pratt or Hawthorn stand in my day.
Catching my eye today, Jackson Voss. Pete, what do you know about him?
Yeah, he's an interesting prospect. He hasn't got an invite to anywhere, but he is a player who he's really consistent. So I'm interested to see what his future holds. He's definitely a VFL player, and he could potentially work his way on. He's of course St Kilda father-son prospect.
Yep. Anyway, Sandringham work it inside 50, just on the edge of it. And we'll have a look. I think it's Missad there who kicks towards the square, over the back, thumped it through from behind. And almost on the top of a cappuccino there.
Ralph Smith would have featured in the Open University's Plays of the Week if that grab had have been taken. Oakleigh, kick it to the pocket and kick it back to full back. Now they work it around. Mark taken by Phillips, inboard, comes back to Phillips, he works off half-back, takes a casual bounce, takes two casual bounces.
Guinness has had about 4
Scrubby
touches in
handball.
this.
They go out wide to Bianco, who goes inboard. It's all Oakleigh, no one takes it. Now the ball's free. Can they go forward through Graham? It's just a general push forward, nothing to elite about this. Eventually Sandringham by hand need to be sharp. They get it back, quick ball, kamikaze handball, been the feature of the game.
Needed another handball there.
Yeah.
Schreiber, centre wing, kicks into the middle of the ground. Oh, you've got to take it, and he does. Lucas goes one way, comes back the other, and a nice bit of a floating pass, but a pass all the same. And he has found his man.
Anderson.
This is Noah Anderson, who has marked this 41 metres out, just shy of directly in front.
He won't have a trouble with the distance. He can kick it a long, long way.
He didn't hit the scoreboard last week, which is very un-Anderson-like, so looking for him to get his first goal here.
Noah Anderson comes in, goes through 50, kicks, and they like it. They like it a lot. Noah Anderson gets his first. Oakleigh's fifth. They move on to 5-2-32. The Dragons are 2-4-16. 16 points the difference.
Comes straight to the bench, which we all love when that happens.
No, we
Now,
love
did he
that.
kick that from 50?
Yeah. He can
that
launch it.
has pretty much
Yeah.
cleared the fence.
Oh, he can kick it 60 if he needed to. He's a long kick.
5.5 minutes into this second term. Sandringham just getting a little bit serious for them.
Yeah, well,
Tad.
Yeah, it's they're starting to turn on, and yeah, the better players are getting their hands on the ball.
Back in the middle this time. Brian goes up a tad early. They bring it to ground here, Oakleigh, and they've got numbers. They just missed the handball there, but good backing up. Great tackle, Jenkins. Back in front of Phillips, and that's a high tackle, it looked like. And this time through Jenkins, goes wide. He's got a link up here, and they'll get it further afield. Outer side. Not often you'll see the ruckman 50 yards in the clear. They'll play on and kick to a beautiful lead out in front. Oakleigh with all the play at the minute. So the man in is Connor Stone, and he'll kick from 40 48 metres on an angle, but they kick plenty from this position. And he comes in, gives it a thump, just pulls it left and thump through for behind.
Some danger signs here, not quite putting it totally on the scoreboard, but Oakleigh are really pressing hard here.
So numbers-wise, they are 124 disposals to 96.
Just mucked that up.
The inside 50s are, as they go forward, Oakleigh, and another mark.
Yeah.
The marks are 26 to 14.
It was pretty close to the line, I think.
Yeah,
but
touch
he
and go,
managed to hold it in, I think. But I think you could tell he doesn't really have a left foot, based on that little chip kick, really. I think that was if I have to, but yeah. No.
Thomas Graham looks a lot bigger than his measurements.
Yeah,
We've got him at 190 and 83.
Yeah, no.
And he can kick a banana.
That's what
Can
we
he
want to see.
kick a banana?
Why don't we see more bananas, Crooksy?
That is a dead set banana. None of this check side rubbish. A dead set banana.
We need more bananas in this game.
Anyone send some bananas up here? We're close to the Vic Market. Oh, they could run a few through. They are stamping their authority on the game here. They move on to 6-2-38 to 2-4-16. And what does Sandy do, Pete?
Well, they just need to start winning the clearances again. Like they had, they're rotating Anderson and Rao out of that midfield, so they're not having them in there at the one time. So they really should try and take control while they're in there. And they've still got a cracking midfield, but it's going all Oakleigh's way at the moment. This second quarter, they've just owned it, so they need to just get it inside 50 quickly and unsettle the Oakleigh defence.
Brian with the tap out again, but this time the Dragons will pump it forward inside 50, down towards centre half. Oh, beautifully trapped, and a little off the sider there. Dribble pass that time to the captain and Bianco. He gets it over to the ruckman in Brian at centre wing, just in front of the interchange. Up they go. Good intercept that time by Finn McGuinness. Brings it to ground. Sandy just trying to work it clear. Oh, this is dangerous. If they've got numbers, no, he got collared there. Hesitated with the handball. And he got the free kick in the meantime there, Caston.
Yeah, you don't handball to one of your tolls close to the boundary.
He's kicked it long, but it's all Oakleigh. And a courageous mark that time by Schreiber, who's having a game. He gets it out to a running player out wide. That time Bailey Laurie was on the end of it. He goes back inboard. Anderson's the target. Miss kick, didn't quite hit him. He gets it back here, Anderson, and he'll just do as he likes and get it inboard. Still not out of dangerous area. And this kick hasn't hit his target and put his backman under plenty of pressure. Eventually, the handball goes over the top. Again, Noah Anderson comes back to help out. But, yeah, they overused it there, Oakleigh.
I reckon that'd be one of the more terrifying sights for Oakleigh is a loose ball that bounces back in and you've got Jake Bowie running straight towards it. That would have been some nightmares there.
Father, son, Pete? Brett Bowie? Played for the Saints?
Question. I haven't thought about that. It depends how many games. Yeah, okay. I'll have to have a look into that one. That's one I haven't heard.
You're the man. I'm glad if I've half stumped
so.
you, I've earned my money today.
I hadn't heard that one, but look.
As the ball is in the middle of the ground, they're just muscling the ball forward, Oakleigh. Again, through Bianco, they kick it forward. It's a bit of a chaos ball inside 50. Sandy need to be clean.
Really good.
Clean they are. They come out wide, and the mark is taken by Chesser. Chesser goes back from whence it came. They want to switch play. Lochnan gets it across. They were looking for Voss. Now they zigzag back this way. Ball in the middle of Ikon Park.
Really good decision making at the moment by the Dragons.
O'Leary goes wide looking for Voss. He gets it on the gallop. He gets on the left boot. He kicks to the hot spot and almost marked on his knees. Now there's one, Rick, for you. If you don't mind, umpire, let me just pick that up. That was Kyle York, who did the old Peter Dacos inside-outside dribbler banana.
The dribbler. Didn't have to, but it was effective.
Well, that was just, that is an Open University's goal of the day Player of the Day contender. And what's more, Rick and Pete, did they need that one?
100%, yeah. And you're quite right. Brett Bowie's son, but he only played the 85 games, so
Tough
not
rule.
eligible for
Tough
father-son.
rule,
That's
isn't
why
it?
I wouldn't have heard. But yeah, father-son.
They did have it at 50 games originally,
Yeah,
and
we
then
got-
they brought it back to 100.
Essendon got Matthew Lloyd because his dad played 48.
Really?
That was always
How
when
did
we
that
got over
work?
these Carlton.
He went all right, I think.
He was okay.
Anderson gets it out of the middle, but this time intercepted and brought back. But that pass was intercepted to Mattress for Oakleigh. Mattress. I think you needed a mattress last night, Crooksy.
Let's not tell that. That's for off air.
And eventually they'll work it wide. Jenkins gets it over to Laurie, who'll kick to a little chip to Rowell. He never lets you down. Rowell will play on and get on the left. Kicks to the pocket. Over the top. It went out of bounds. Hasn't been as influential as we've seen from Rowell.
No, but he'll pop up. He'll probably have some massive last quarter. He just keeps winning the footy and works hard. I know that Ryan Burns has been trying to limit his influence at stoppages, just getting his body in there and trying to stop him.
Over the back it goes. We're 40 metres out from the Oakleigh goal. They can't break away just yet. Now it's kicked into the middle of the ground. Favours Oakleigh. But Sandringham there to help out. Well done through. Ralph Smith gets it wide. He's kicked to open space. Just needs a kind bounce. And he gets that, but he's against two players and happy to work it out of bounds there, Lewis.
Rails had the 10 possessions, 3 kicks, 7 handballs, 2 marks, 4 tackles.
Probably notice players when they have a higher kicking percentage.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's cost Scott Pendlebury a Brownlow over the years.
He kicks all right, though.
He kicks beautifully, but he has you
Yeah.
know, as many or more handballs. Anyway, in the middle it goes. Taken away by Bianco. Kicks it to the centre. A fumble there was pretty crucial because it allows Stathopoulos to get it and go wide. Got a race on our hands. Again, 2 against 1. Brought it to ground, but Oakleigh get back to help. It's around the 40, 45 metres out, and Stathopoulos has a shot on goal. And what's the mark? He's got a man who's got 100 metres to himself, Nick Burke. He kicks out in front of, that time it's Bergman. Bergman just has to hold up play. They had the link up, but now they haven't. They used the footy all right, and they've worked their way to the centre of the ground this time. Finn McGuinness goes short. He's got his captain in Burns. Burns goes to a long lead, just out in front, didn't hit the target, allows the Chargers in.
Well done.
A little fake and a little cross kick didn't work.
6 free kicks paid so far. 4 to Sandringham, 2 to Oakleigh.
I'm comfortable with that. It's been a pretty hectic pace. That's they've allowed the game to go. Anyway, an intercept that time, thumped by Lucas. Anderson with the quick hands. That time Burns gets it out. They'll pump it forward again. Sandy. And the kicker that time was Dean, Charlie Dean.
It's easier if they don't pay free kicks, I find. Less Tiggy Touchwood or
Yeah.
interpretation. If you just say, all right, we're going to let it keep playing, it's a lot easier to then interpret and say it's only the clear ones, and it keeps a lot more people happy because you can never do that. So
Ball thrown in, half forward flank. Northern side of the ground. Ball goes to Deck, right on the numbers. Umpire has a good look at it and says he'll come in and ball it up. We are 16 minutes into the second term. 17 points the lead to the Oakleigh Chargers.
Fraser Elliott still on the boundary line, just currently walking around with the trainer, hoping that that calf will be okay to continue on in the game.
Also have to put some thought into, can't count your chickens, but
No.
you think about next week as well. As the boundary umpire, they come in the under 18s, about 10 metres, and hurl the ball back in. Up they go. Tap down to no real advantage. Bianco, been prolific, Gets it to Anderson. Anderson on the right boot. Kicks it into the middle, looking for a man to run on. They can't find one. Sandy. He's going to turn it over. On the gallopers, Phillips. Runs into a bit of trouble. Gets it back out. Now the long searching. Oh, that's holding the man.
That's holding.
That is holding the man.
Mark this one down too.
Glenn on the camera would have picked that up beautifully there. The jumper was just pulled right, stretched to Cooper Sharman. What's the Cooper Sharman story, Pete?
East Baldwin. He actually used to be GWS Academy member, and he came back to Victoria, and yeah, played out at Baldwin. He's a 19-year-old this year, so lovely set shot. I'm probably about to moz him, but he's only missed one all year. There you go. He's about the best set shot you'll see. So he's a terrific set shot and long range too.
Cooper Sharman, that is his first for the day.
Yep.
And Oakleigh move on to 7 goals, 3-45, and the Sandy Dragons are 3-4-22. And time check on the game is 18 minutes into this second term.
What I like about Sharman is he's just got the simple run up, the old-fashioned go back and then straight through. Don't overlook it.
Sharman's the guy they pulled that wasn't in the squad early days.
Correct, yeah,
right?
he came from Baldwin. He was under Rodney Eade, and Eade just sort of said, hey, there's a kid here.
Nice size about him, isn't he? Now, that time, Nick Bryan gets it out, and they'll work it through Phillips. They're holding up play here. Is this a set play by Bianco, or is he just cooling it down? He's gone for Ugle over the top, Ugle Hagen. Watts not sure where to go, and disguises the out of bounds.
Lovely. He'll enter into the back the defenders union doing that kind of stuff.
Good defender, Watts, isn't he?
Yep.
Good size.
Solid. Ball thrown in right in front of the commentary position. Trying to work the ball free. Eventually it ends up with Shergwin. Gets it across to the skipper in Ryan Burns. Searching right foot pass, and he's spotted up Ralph Smith. Hugo Ralph Smith.
Great handball. The timing of that handball just looped it enough over the top to give McGuinness a run at it.
Didn't have to break
but
stride.
Burns a run at it.
Didn't have to break stride.
And it was good because last time Burns kicked in, obviously he kicked it over the head of Ralph Smith, like he sort of said that time, and that time it was perfect, straight to him. So worked out really well.
Hugo Ralph Smith, 45-degree angle. He'll kick it from 29 metres out to the Royal Parade ends. Hop, skip, jump, kicks, and fades it to the right. Oh, hit the post.
You just leaned back on it a bit, I felt. Like you sort of leaned
Yeah,
back and that
didn't
sort of
kick
tugged
through it.
3-5-23, 7-3, 45. Oakleigh with all the answers at the moment. They bring the ball back in. Kick to the city side of the ground. Almost a mark there to Bryan. Can't take it. Ball on the ground. And the ball will be thrown in.
Out of side. What was that? That's the old Hawthorn stand in the old days, isn't it? The Richard Pratt.
Now.
Used to be Hawthorn when they played here. A bit of a scrum in the outer side. Oakleigh get it over the top. Not quite clear yet. And good work by Phillips, who's having a good impact this quarter. Gets it down to half forward. Ball nearly broke away, but Watts with the clearing handball. Have they got enough here to get them out of trouble? And the little chip over the top to Bowie, who finds space. Not much of him.
He's only jockey size. 173 and 65. Jumps jockey.
Jumps jockey. Over the top. Clearance here to Noah Anderson, who is having another one who's having an excellent quarter. Gets it inside to McRae. McRae, just in front of the interchange, goes to the right. Kicks long to a contest. Watts brings it to ground. Little handball over the top. Doesn't carry. Oh, that's danger. But they get out of trouble this time through Graham and kick down towards out in the full it is. Just inside 50 for Oakleigh.
Again, Anderson, 11 disposals, 3 kicks, 8 handballs. Now they go forward, spot up Shergwin. He lays it off. Hanrahan, interception by Rowell. Rowell draws the handball. Now the long kick inside 50, and they're looking for Graham. He's wrestled, the ball comes through. Stacks on the mill, they're looking for the holding the ball, and they're not going to get it.
So that's in front of the old Legends stand, Crooksy.
Absolutely.
Where they used to charge $13.50 to get a seat there.
It was.
No one ever sat there.
Some of those seats have never seen a bottom on them, Rick. Named after us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, blocking free.
So there's a blocking free in front of the Legends stand. And this will go to Graham, who's having an impact on the game up forward.
He's certainly a good target, isn't he?
He wins a lot of touches. That's a big thing for a player who rotates to the ruck. He seems to win a lot of touches around the ground.
So Graham to kick from 45 metres out on the angle. He kicks from 50 in the end. He's a booming kick. Oh, has that cleared the fence? That's an excellent. He went for the left to right arc and just brought it back beautifully. And that's his third. And he's really having an influence on this game, Thomas Graham, at half forward. And we'll just straighten up this scoreboard.
It is
29 now points, isn't it?
8-3-51 to 3-5-23. And we are very much in the shadows of half-time.
It's going to be tough.
Just making the running Oakleigh at the minute.
Oh, they've displayed why I think they might be the best team in it, Rick, just quietly, which is not anything groundbreaking news.
I'm happy to wait till the end of the day.
What's also been really surprising is you wouldn't say that Rowell and Anderson have had the usual impact that they have. So all the other players for Oakleigh, their bottom 6 players, have stepped up in this game.
Call Siobhan. Ball goes wide on the boundary. Sandringham through Butler. And mark is taken by the ruckman in Andrew Courtney. Courtney. Nice kick to centre wing. They get the ball forward through Mifsud. Just hits grass. Oh, set upon. And again, the ball's there. It's a bit of a tug of war. Eventually, Rowell comes out with it. Left-hander. Oh, photo finish there. Half-time. Half-time here at Ikon Park, the first preliminary final. Oakleigh 8-3-51, lead by 28. Sandringham Dragons 3-5-23. I will bring you up the goal kickers. The goal kickers for Oakleigh. Tom Graham has 3. Ugle-Hagan has 2. And 1 apiece to Anderson, McRae and Sharman. And for Sandringham, 2 to York, 1 to Bergman. That has been the first half. We're going to take a break.
Just before we go to the halftime break, it's worth noting that Oakleigh are staying on the ground as Sandringham are running off for the halftime break. They're in a really tight huddle with plenty of players voicing how they've felt in this first half. You'd have to think that they want to make the grand final to make up for the one that they lost last year. So certainly a lot of feeling and a lot of hope coming from the Oakleigh camp.
Good work. Very entertaining first half here at Ikon Park. Of course, following this game, we'll have the second preliminary final between Eastern Rangers and Gippsland Power. We'll be back to recommence the third quarter in 15 minutes.
Back here at Visy Park for the preliminary final, Oakleigh Chargers and Sandringham Dragons. And it's been an entertaining game so far, but in the second quarter there, Oakleigh got out to a nice lead. And of course, we've got distractions in the background, but we don't mind that, do we, Stangers? And Peter, how have you seen the game so far?
Yeah, it's been a really highly entertaining contest, as we sort of came in and expecting there. Two of the more skilled teams in the competition. They've got plenty of draftable prospects, heaps of combine invites. Yeah, it's just a really high-quality game, and both these teams are deserving of being in the grand final, but Oakleigh are in the box seat right now.
And, of course, the score is 8-3, 51 to Oakleigh to 3-5, 23 to Sandringham.
There's one player I want to put a little bit of pressure on, and that's Hugo Ralph-Smith. He's certainly an impact player. I'd like to see more from him in the second half for Sandy to get over the line.
Thank you, Siobhan, on the boundary. Now we've got a mark taken by Nick Burke, who thumps it forward. Inside 50 it goes for Sandringham. They need some early action. They get it out. Can't quite break away just yet. Now they've thumped it towards the forward pocket. It's brought to ground. Oakleigh with the clearance. Hasn't quite cleared it yet. Bit of an awkward bounce allows the Dragons in for a moment, and they've got numbers around the footy. Back inside 50 again, but an intercept marked by Brian. Let's see what he does. The big ruckman, he'll go to a lead. Brought to ground again. And Oakleigh defence has stood up pretty well today. They'll work it out of there and get some space. Now it's out in front. The spoil opportunity was there, but they overran it and picked up by Bianco. Over the top, put his man under pressure there. Bianco gets grabbed with it by Corey Watts. They've jumped over the top. I'm pretty sure they landed on top of him, and there's a bit of pushing and shoving.
Because he tackled him and Bianco dropped the shoulder again and tried to get it.
I saw nothing, Pete.
Been to the Gabe Sorrentino school of give up.
Anyway, it's with Bowie, who works it forward and slips catch. Wasn't paid.
He's holding the ball. Umpire?
No, he just bobbled it out, and the umpire will come up and ball it up. He's 65 out from goal. Sandringham attacking.
One thing that's fairly noticeable, the umpire hasn't been too involved today. He's let a lot of things go, which is always good to see.
I like that, Siobhan, and hope they continue. Kicked away that time by Lucas, the clearing kick, but Corey Watts too big, too strong. He's going to take a kick, which is dangerous. Allows Oakleigh in, and a little chip pass. It was always looking scary, that kick.
I always say Watts is a player that's terrific without the ball, but like any taller player, when they have the ball, you have a moment of breath because you're not sure what's going to happen.
Well, this is with Connor Stone now, and Stone will kick from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Got a good line on this one, and he comes in. And he kicks left, and it brings it back right, but not enough. And through for a behind.
Sandringham bring the ball in. They come to the northern side of the ground. Breeze just popping up, just a little bit of a zephyr, not too much. Charlie Dean switches play. This has got danger written all over it. Ball hits the deck inside 50. They get it out. They handball into some green grass. Comes over the top. They run onto it, but it's Rowell. Get run straight into trouble and caught. Might have been holding the ball. Ralph Smith kicks it round the corner. Bounce. Goes end on end. Bergman kicks. Left foot. Snap. Goal.
No.
Missed. Oh, gee.
Now that's a time where you wanted the umpires to get involved because that was dead set holding the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. They bring the ball back in. Zagari goes out wide. Now they've got a man on the run, McRae. He takes it, gathers it, kicks it long inside 50. Ball spills. They tumble down. A couple of charges hit the deck. Sandringham keep their feet, keep the footy and kick to centre wing. Penalty, he drops just one under pressure. Again, the Chargers, they hunt in packs. They get it across to Brian, the big ruckman. He handballs to Phillips in the centre of Ikon Park. Gets it over to Noah Anderson on the right boot. Kicks it up, there's no one there, and Sandringham will take a mark, last line of defence.
He either needed to have a shot or drop that short, because he sort of was indecisive with that kick.
Be taken away by Charlie Dean. He's got a couple of options out there at half-back, and they chip it back inboard to Burns. Played pretty well today, Burns. He finds Ralph Smith. He's a classy mover. Gets it out wide. Now they should be able to chip it towards centre half forward. Beautiful delivery, but great work by the spoiler there in McGuinness. And that's in the back, I'd say. Well umpired. Just landed on top of him. It was a bit unlucky there, but the kick will go Ralph Smith's way.
No, that's a good call. You've got to tackle correctly, and he drove him in. Can't do it that way.
They get away with that one a little bit, don't they?
You've just got to drag their weight off them and drag
pull
them
them sideways.
Yeah, try and go on the side. It is hard when you're running at full speed and momentum carries you.
Here you go, Ralph Smith, 40 metres out directly in front. Comes in, connects left.
Costly.
Just didn't feel right off the boot, that one.
There's a slight breeze that is coming towards the left-hand side of the screen, but I wouldn't say it's significant.
Oakleigh, go laterally, get it back into the centre. Mark taken by Finlay McRae. Pops a little dinky into the middle and finds Phillips. Rowell, McRae, good use of the footy by hand. They kick it to Ugelhagen and he drops a sitter. They butter up the Chargers. Now they've got a shot on goal, nice and evasive, and straight through the middle to Connor Stone.
And that's just elite kicking from Bianco again in the middle. That was just pinpoint perfect. And you saw him go, when he dropped it, and then it worked out in the end. But
it did, and Stone, nice little dummy there, Rick. Nice little fake, wasn't it?
Little shimmy.
A shimmy, that's what it was. I knew it was something, I just didn't know quite how to articulate it. But they moved the score on to 9 goals for 58 to 3-7-25. And I'm not going to, well, no, I'm going to call it.
Yeah, I was about to call it.
The grand final next Saturday.
Yeah, I think we're done. Could come back to bite us, but I think
Bit early.
Bit early, Rick.
I can remember seeing Luke Davies Uniac running amok in one of the finals here one day.
At Victoria Park, that was, yeah.
No, it was here, wasn't it?
No, Victoria
we stepped up and came from, they were against Eastern that day.
Eastern Rangers.
Yeah, and they came from behind and he pretty
50
much
points down.
put them on their shoulder, yeah.
So
you remember it well.
We're in the forward pocket.
Victoria Park. Remember where we were sitting?
Great venue. Love it.
Bad day.
We're at in the forward pocket here, so they've got an opportunity now, Sandringham, to pull something out of it. Here they go. They snap it back towards goal. So just a dribbler and picked up. Just wants to get a kick in and...
Good work.
Geez, tough execution, but he did it well. And the mark's been taken by Mifsud, Jacqueline Mifsud. And he's got a man further afield.
That's poor.
And yeah, it was poor marking. And this time it's with O'Leary. Blake O'Leary to kick for goal, 40 metres out, not much of an angle. So we'll see if he just has to go right to left, but...
yeah, hopefully they're not listening to the call, Oakleigh, and they've just thought they're home, because that was just a little bit, loose
Complacent.
checking. Yeah, it was complacent there, and he was standing there by himself for a while.
So O'Leary comes in, kicks it off the side of the boot, and through for a behind. They've missed opportunities this quarter, Sandringham.
They're the ones that are keeping themselves out of it. Like they've had almost as many scoring shots, just a couple less, so they could be well and truly in this.
Not sure what to do here, the Chargers, and there's almost an intercept mark. Now Ralph Smith gets the handball out. McGuinness goes central. Bit of a kick in hope up forward, and that's going to dribble out of bounds.
Probably a good result in here. Had two players there, Oakleigh.
Forward pocket at the Eastern or Lygon Street end of the ground.
In some good news down at ground level, Fraser Elliott looks like he's ready to come back on the ground. Currently running along the boundary line, but looking like he's starting to get warm to join back into the action.
Good work.
Interesting.
I don't know why you would, because it looks like they're, like, from here, like they're home and rest him up for next week. But obviously if they need the extra rotation, it's handy.
A few cries of deliberate, and the umpire's not having a bar of it. Ryan Burns saying, come on.
I reckon probably fair enough to ask the question there.
Ball to be thrown in, half forward flank, grandstand, well, there's grandstands everywhere. Northern side of the ground, commentary side of the ground. Bit of jumper holding there. Good call by the umpire, and Nick Bryan will take the resultant free kick. He's on half back, the big fella. Just lobs it up to centre wing, down the line. Plenty of Dragons. They feed it out the back. Lewis. This has got danger. Oh, he's found his man. Risk and reward. Hanrahan kicks into the middle. Who can mark it? Bergman. He kicks an up and under. He's got Ralph Smith on the lead, who marks on his chest in the pocket.
That was a high kick, but did it penetrate? That's gone 60 metres into the pocket, that.
Yeah.
Found his man.
I think Oakleigh just got a little lost there. They seem to be looking up, and Ralph Smith just, they just read it better going in.
Now Hugo, sharp angle. He's going to kick from 30 metres out. He goes the Nana, and he's got it. Well done.
That's 2 from 2 from the
Banana City here today, Banana Rama, and that is Sandringham. Much needed goal. They move on to 4-8-32, and the Sandringham Dragons are 9-4-58 on the NAB League scoreboard.
Now that was the long banana, Crooksy. You don't see them kick from that far, the banana, normally.
That was, and the other one was more a ladyfinger banana, just the shorter one.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. You normally get the banana very deep in the pocket, but
Yeah.
that was a bit further out. But he did it well. He backed himself. It's good to see.
Nice to see Hugo Ralph Smith getting involved in the contest as well. He could be the difference for Sandy.
Been a good player, I've thought, all day. Up they go in the middle. Tap down, and another good player is Phillips, who gets it out. He's got Rowell on the burst. Kicks towards the full forward area. Watts with the finger, gets it down. Got caught in the action. Now we've got a player just mowed down in the goal square, and out of bounds it goes.
good pressure there by Oakleigh in their forward half. If they can create something out of this, it'll really deflate Sandy, because the momentum has been with Sandy in this term. So Oakleigh, if they can snag one here, it'll be very important.
Inboard it goes. Important ball this. If Sandringham can clear, because Oakleigh have got a good lead. Now they can. Just have to get off the handball here in time. And just a sneaky one, but out of bounds. And we've got the play at half forward for Oakleigh, who lead 56-32.
12 and a half minutes in the third term, Rick, halfway through.
So it's still just a 24-point margin.
26.
26. Out it goes. Handball by Chesser. Gets it back to Bowie. He runs around. Kicks a little nice little spear pass through to Butler. Butler has mucked it up and given it straight back to Lucas. Lucas is a half-back. He's played a steady game. Inboard to Reef McGuinness. Nice use of the football. And this guy's not afraid to go either side of the body. McRae didn't quite hit up Schreiber.
Throwing the ball.
Ball spills out now. They'll bring it inside, but it dribbled to the forward line there. Clearance through Churgwin. They get it out wider, and they'll just hold up for a moment till they've got the runner. Now they have. They'll go wide. This kick has to be good. And he dived a bit early for mine, and eventually out of bounds it goes.
There was some questionable skill plays in that last couple of minutes. There were a few errors.
Two leading disposal getters on the ground are the two skippers. Burns has 19 and Bianco 18.
Where does the skipper Ryan Burns fit into the scale of things, Pete?
He's probably in that 30 to 60 bracket, I think. He's got he's consistent, a lot of good areas. Just that kicking sometimes can let him down, but overall he's a pretty good prospect.
Outer side, Rao with the footy. They bring it inside through Graham. Series of handballs, but they're under a bit of pressure here. Just getting out of trouble and back into trouble. Now they'll thump it out to nobody in particular. It'll allow the Dragons to clear, but the execution of the handball didn't work.
Pick it up.
And we've got a holding here, and it'll go Sandringham's way. And they'll play on from full back.
They're worrying me, Rick, up in the defence here.
And kick long through Hanrahan to the outer side. That was nicely done.
Having a bit of a biffo in the back line again. Corey Watts, thick of it.
They'll chip it inboard. I don't mind them from half back. They seem to work it well, Sandringham, and it's this next kick. And he's kicked it beautifully. That's a nice take.
Oh, they've got Courtney there.
Now they'll go to the pocket, and they've gone longer and out in front of York.
There's plenty of... what's going on down the boundary there, Siobhan? A lot of yelling.
Plenty of voice from both teams, but I'm hoping that, Sandy are hoping to get some players off the ground so that they can rotate their interchange a bit better. As I mentioned before, the conditions are quite warm, so they're hoping that players are still fresh when it comes to that last quarter.
York comes from the pocket and muffs that one up. A scorer behind and takes the margin to 25 points. Oakleigh lead, and they'll attack through centre half back. Play on was the call. Rao gets the handoff. It works into the hands this time of Jenkins. He runs through the middle down towards centre half forward. Ugle Hagen does it as easy as he likes. He's 60 out. Go the top. No, he'll share the footy. Rao on the left, just dinky kick into trouble. Here's an opportunity for Sandringham if they can get someone on the burst. And out in front of York, who that's LBW in most terms. But eventually they've got the back up, and their back line has played terrific today, Oakleigh. The kick was a bit of a hospital ball there for Anderson, but Dragons in numbers get back to hold them up. Eventually it spills out the back. All Oakleigh in this passage. McRae finds it. He'll go into the middle. He's got a bit of a space here, Laurie. And Laurie goes down, and there's that man again, Ugle Hagen.
He's just a bit too quick for Lloyd, unfortunately.
He's the first 5 metres he gets a break.
They need sort of someone just chopping that off, because it's happened time and time again, and he's just too quick, unfortunately. And for Sandringham, they probably just need to look at that and try and get someone in there. But one thing that's worth highlighting is Rao's hard running, because he got the terrible bounce, unlucky for him, in midfield, and he won the ball back 1-on-2 in defence and got it back.
Ugle Hagen from 50 kicks it off the side of the boot. Contest in the square, big fly over the back, through for a behind. He has got good supply today, all the same, Ugle Hagen. They've got it to him very nicely out in front of him.
He's a nice lead.
Yeah, he's got the beautiful lead.
He
gets that break on his opponent. But I also see him that he's the type of player you could play anywhere.
That's right. Throw, says the umpire, which it was. Good call. Incorrect disposal. And the skipper, who if I was giving votes at this point in the game, would be getting 3. Bianco Kicks to the hot spot, and two bites of the cherry, didn't take it. Rowell looks around, got a man on the hunt, can't quite get it. Lockton runs it towards the boundary, doesn't see it over. The ball's kept alive, snap on goal, straight through the middle. So let me...
Was that Rowell?
I think that was Connor Stone.
That was Connor Stone. Some shouts of Stoney in the crowd, so certainly has a lot of support down here for him too.
I don't know why both the Sandringham players tackled Staphopoulos there. He's not exactly the biggest player to bring to ground, and that just left the free man. I think that was just the miscommunication there, because it left the free player to just snap uncontested.
So let's have a look at the scoreboard. 65 plays 33. Have we got a time count, Crooksy?
We have 19, almost 20 minutes into this third term.
They bring it to ground again, Oakleigh, and thump it forward, but an intercept mark there in defence. So nice kick to Watts. Watts will play on. What's he going to do? Gives it back. He's got his man in McGuinness. Oh, he runs in and out of trouble and did too much. Good tackling, and they'll play on that time through Laurie. They get it out now. That missed the target with that handball. Out towards Lucas, but out of bounds it goes.
That was a wonderful tackle. The whole bench went up in unison yelling ball, so certainly a lot of energy from the Oakleigh team.
Brian at the front, tapped out by Courtney, well rowed by Rowell, who's really starting to get into this game. Gives it to Schreiber, out in front again of Ugle-Hagan, who didn't let him down. Nice direction in the kick.
One grab mark.
But good marking, and he is a class act, this kid.
But again, same play, and they're doing well, Oakleigh, to find that space. The other forwards spread out and give him that leading option.
Got the confidence in his players up the ground as well to give him the ball. And he comes in from 35 metres out. And that's a bit to the left. Hit the post.
That is two. He's had 5 kicks, 5 marks. 5 kicks, 5 marks. 2 goals, 2.
Back right, Tommy.
They bring the ball back in. No, they've lost it. Dispossessed, ball loose. They're under a heap of pressure, getting forced back towards the boundary line. Tackled.
Great work, wasn't it, by the Oakleigh forward line there?
Danger signs here if Oakleigh start to get on a roll, because that piece of play there looked a lot like, I don't want that ball. Handball, quick, just someone else deal with it. The pressure's really high out there.
Ball to be thrown in. We're in the heart of Oakleigh's 50. Sandringham defending grimly, but Anderson puts another nail in the coffin for Sandringham.
That'll be it.
That would be one of those, if this was footy classified, Matthew Lloyd to be up at the board looking at the setup of the stoppage. And what's Anderson doing with no one between him and the goal face?
Yeah, it's just like you can see that, like you mentioned in the first half, they weren't living up to the expectations that we've had on them as, picks 1 and 2. But as I sort of mentioned, they have their moments where they can just take a game away from an opposition. And we saw Rowell, his take out of the stoppage, he's setting up, his hard running, and then Anderson just finishing off that goal. They just pop up when they need them to and can win the game for them.
Ball back in the middle. Nothing decisive. Bang. Sandringham get it out. Kick to half forward. Again, Oakleigh. Slung as he kicked. Gets it towards the boundary line. Bouncing ball. Oh, says the umpire.
Phillips is just a player that wants the ball. He's just a hungry player that just attacks it and chases it and wins the ball. He's a really good prospect for next year.
Thrown in underneath the commentary box, and it went Phillips' way, but he got an awkward bounce, and eventually they'll mop up Oakleigh and get it inside that centre square. Series of handballs finds Laurie. Out wider he goes. McRae gets on the left, or Schreiber it was. They've managed to trap it through Stathopoulos. Stathopoulos has found Ugle-Hagan, and you'd expect him to start getting on the scoreboard, Ugle-Hagan. He's got a couple, but he's played better than that, I would have thought. He's dominated the forward line.
This will be 7 marks, 7 kicks.
Yeah, he's just that's the goal kicking that needs that little bit of tightening up. Hasn't been too bad today. The ones he's missed haven't been shockers, but yeah, just making the most of it.
He kicked one from here earlier. I think he gets a bit close to the man on the mark. And he's kicked that. Beautiful.
Right on the siren.
And that's it.
3/4 time here at Ikon Park. Goal.
Yeah, Lucas has got the ice on the hamstring, so I'd say he's done.
Who's that? Is that?
Oh, sorry, not Lucas.
Fraser Elliott.
Fraser Elliott, yeah, has got the ice on the hamstring. I reckon he's done for the day. They're not going to risk it. They've got it in the bag.
So at 3/4 time, the charges are 12 goals, 6-78 to 4 goals, 9-33. We'll take a break here and be back on the other side of this for the last quarter, and of course following this, the second prelim between Gippsland and Eastern Rangers. back here at Ikon Park. There was a little bit of kerfuffle with the score, but it's definitely 12 goals, 678 to 49-33. And out on the ground is Siobhan, and she's with the Sandy talent manager, Mark Wheeler.
Yes, I'm with Mark Wheeler. You didn't make the most of your opportunities in that quarter, and you're down on the scoreboard. What do you want to see from the boys in the last quarter?
Well, just probably taking the game on. So we know they've got plenty of skill here. So just take the game on, go back to the basics, take it out, just say see it, hit it, and move the ball forward.
Your pressure's been really good today. I think that's one area that you can be really proud of.
Yeah, definitely. It was a high focus coming into the game. They're a very talented side. We knew that. We knew we had a game to come into today. But yeah, pressure. We're happy with that one.
And the skipper, Ryan Burns, has had a great final series, and he stood up again today.
Yeah, he's been good, and he's leading from the front, and that's probably why he's been named skipper. So what you're seeing is what we've known since February.
Thanks for your time. Good luck for the last quarter.
Good work, Siobhan. And just having a bit of a look at the individuals here. Rowell is now leading the disposals with 23. 7 kicks, 16 handballs.
He's doing a lot of inside work and getting down and dirty too. So, you know, just winning it at ground level, firing out the handballs.
Schreiber, 22 disposals, 10 and 12. Let me take that back. Bianco, 14 and 7. Lucas, 8 and 9. Phillips, 3 kicks, 14 handballs.
Yeah, he's a very handball-orientated player. I'm not surprised by that.
And the leaders for Sandringham, Burns has 8 and 12, and Butler has 10 and 8. Down to Shergwin, 7 and 8. McGuinness, 7 and 6, 13 disposals. So,
Just some comments from the Sandringham huddle. Coach Josh Burke was imploring his players, as Mark Wheeler stated, to just continue to pressure the opposition, and he wants them to take the game on. Obviously, the scoreline is 78-33, so they're going to need to do everything they can to get themselves back in the game, and the way that he wants them to do that is by taking the game on. He also implored the midfielders to continue to do what they're doing by pressuring the opposition, but wanted to see, as I mentioned, a bit more of an attacking game style.
good work, Siobhan. Just looking at the team stats. Disposals, Oakleigh 278 and Sandringham 225. Inside 50s are the same, 32-31. Marks just in favour of Oakleigh, 62-51. Tackles in favour of Sandringham, 37-32. Hit-outs, 32 to Oakleigh. That'll be Nick Bryan's work there, to 17 from Sandringham. And the free 7-6 in Oakley's favour. Not a lot of whistle work.
No, love it.
Yeah, of course.
All right, last quarter action here from Ikon Park. They take a very nice lead into the last term. 45-point lead. Barring a miracle, Oakleigh will be the first team into the 2019 NAB League Grand Final to be held here at Ikon Park next Saturday. Umpire checks the ground, has a look around. He's satisfied everyone's off. He's something worrying. Now he's right. Last quarter action. Take it away, Rick.
Up they go. Courtney gets it down nicely to Burns, but he couldn't run away with it. And now Brian, the ruckman, will kick long to Ugle-Hagan on the lead. Drops what he should have taken. Spins around. Kicks off the side of the boot. And the spoils to the front, a dangerous area. We're only 35 out from goal. And they can't get out of trouble just yet. Now they do, Sandringham. Kick to the side. There's been a few of those kicks today. And shucked nicely by Bianco. He's had a good game. And so's that man Phillips. Gets it inboard around the 50 metres. Rowell with the kick towards the goal square over the back. Ugle-Hagan kicks it.
He's just kicked him into the grand final. If there was
That's
any doubt
right. That's
before.
his fourth.
And how clean was that from Rowell? Like, he's got some of the cleanest hands in the business. That was just one mid out, just brought it back in and put it perfect.
And it was a low ball, and Ugle-Hagan read it beautifully. The others sort of came forward of the pack a little, and the kick carried further than what it looked, and he read it beautifully. And he deserves that 4 goals. He probably had quite a few opportunities.
Well, he could have kicked 6 or 7 today with a bit of luck, and he's had a huge day.
Game's a real standout.
13-6, 84 to 4-9, 33, and we're just 1 minute into the last term. Up they go. Brian gets a tap to Phillips, to Anderson. They feed it backwards. Kick while tackled. Didn't stop. Nice mark taken by Connor Stone. Looks to draw outside, but then goes back inside. Searching kick, looking for Graham. Off hands, Sandringham. Handball smothered. Now they're under the pump. Lucas first one back, and the ball is over the boundary line, out of bounds, 40 metres around from Oakleigh's goal.
One of the best things of Oakleigh's play today is the basketball hands, as what we saw there, where you just put the mid out, just a little partial smother, little deflection, which Richmond Footy Club are very good at, and it's put the Dragons under pressure all day. They've done that beautifully. Ball to be thrown in, just inside the 50, Oakleigh attacking. Courtney done a good job in the ruck today. Gets it down, now he grabs it and loses it. Rowell out to Bianco. They miss it again. Phillips barging his way, rugby style there. And a little quick kick. Gets fingertip on it, Anderson. Ball outside. Finds Anderson again. Just handballs out of trouble. Bowie with the intercept. Here they come through. Ralph Smith, the Dragons, but that ball didn't help. Luckily they got it back and kick out wide. Be taken by Burke. Kick didn't hit his forward, but he's still got time. York over the top. Don't know how they fumbled that one. But eventually inside they go, and just skill level starting to let them down now, Sandy. Look at the difference there with the execution of the pass.
I was going to say, inside 50, Oakleigh have been much more clinical. The passes have been perfect.
Now, they're going back a long way here. Outer side's got a loose man, but it goes inboard this time. McRae on the left. That is superb kicking. Rowell's going to take on the challenge
Look at this.
and go towards goal. And he should.
He's missed.
No, he misses. He's great on the burst, isn't he, to watch?
I love the way he just looked at his opponent and said, come and get me.
Yeah.
That was terrific. He's
fantastic speed.
They bring the ball back in to the Dragons. Voss kicks to half back. Good kick. They go in the middle. Ralph Smith right in the middle of Ikon Park. Handballs to his mate, who was right under the hammer. That was the big ruckman, Rick. Brian, good work.
Right.
Gets it out wide to Lucas. He sets sail at the top of the square. Graham gets front position. Can't get the footy. Ball in dispute. Ends up with Graham again. He feeds it out somehow. And there you have it. That's how it's done. Nicholas Stathopoulos has kicked a goal off the outside of his boot in the goal square after a little bit of volleyball.
Yeah, it was all started with Brian's rundown tackle, which, to be honest, is not a shock when you see his testing numbers. He's not always looks like the quickest bloke, but he runs a 2.91 second 20-metre sprint. So he's probably actually the quickest bloke out there in terms of testing, which is why he was so highly rated at the start of the year. So.
And that's from a standing start?
Yeah, standing start, 2.91 second. So if he could show that out on the ground, he'd be a real...
You reckon you could do quicker on a mobile start at the trots or something? Do you?
I just thought he might take a while to get going, Big Nick.
No, he's very athletic. Very athletic.
He's had a great day in the ruck. Neither ruckman get it. Oakleigh, nice feed out to Phillips. Nice pass on the lead. 2 bites of the cherry. Stone can't take it. Phillips again. Hunting the ball, as Peter told us earlier. Now Sandringham defending grimly. They've got a few teammates in support here. Nice work by the skipper. Now they're just sort of losing their way back into trouble. They're going laterally. Long kick out wide to Bowie. Can he mark it? Good work and plays on. Goes in short. and misses the target.
I'd love to know how many intercept marks that Oakleigh's had in that defensive 50.
Played a good game, Bowie.
He has, yeah. He's been one of the
That was a
better players.
beautiful piece of play to mark in between players. Good navigation through a tricky period there.
They're just holding it up in the outer side of the ground here, Oakleigh. And very wide out, Varagianis. He'll go over the top. Bit of a race on our hands. It'll be mopped up this time by Sandringham, and this is a scary kick, but great mark there to Voss. He gets it inside. Be intercepted by Schreiber, who goes to McRae. Now the fumble at the crucial stage, and the tackle sees Sandringham clear.
He's probably fortunate he slipped there, Voss.
Yeah.
That copped the high contact.
So they've just not executing their skills very well at the minute. They're getting numbers around the footy, Sandringham, but mucking it up with their handball. So Oakleigh get it through Rowell, down towards half forward. McRae spins out of trouble. They'll work it towards the boundary side, out in front of Ugle-Hagan, who does that so easily with the long arms and the long legs.
They've finally made the switch. Corey Watts going on.
Cramping up there.
Yeah.
It is pretty warm out there.
Ugle-Hagan, yeah, now going on Watts. So Watts will make him.
Is he going to go around the corner?
Well, the banana's been working for him today, so.
I doubt he'll do the banana.
Yeah, he won't go the banana, but
it's a bit
He
far
might
out.
just run around with the hook kick here.
Although he's not a real,
just a bit of a
not
hook.
an arc running left
yeah.
footer. He doesn't run the arc. He runs a straight line.
Yeah. Only a
Goes
step
straight.
or two.
That looks okay.
Out
No. Watching the
Out
ball
of
and
full, yeah.
got nowhere near it.
Probably on the worst angle to look at that, though.
Sandringham to bring the ball back in. They want to play on. They want to do a lot of stuff. They're just lacking a little bit of method, but they find a teammate in McGuinness. Goes out wide. Oh, solid. You can feel that up here. Sandringham butter up through Hugo Ralph Smith. Gets a shorty. Gets it across to George Gray. It's a daisy cutter. No one can take it. Bergman, no. Now Ralph Smith chimes in again through heavy traffic. He kicks a nana and hasn't got enough. It's a straight banana.
Just that last kick into the 50 is what's let them down all day.
Yeah, they haven't been able to nail it, and it's very un-Sandringham-like. They're usually very good with their skills going inside 50. The pressure from Oakleigh's been massive.
And they've had that man cut across the path of the forward, and they've done that very well, Oakleigh. And they'll clear it to the outer side. They've got some run, and they'll work it towards 1 against 2, but play on to call. Bit of a dangerous ball again, but Bowie should get this one at half back. He'll go inside. Nice delivery. He's just got to work it out from here. He's gone out in front, but they weren't sure who it was to. Runs it straight into trouble, and they'll ping him here.
That exemplifies Sandringham's day, that.
Yeah.
Thought he might have taken him on there.
What should have taken him? He was running in the direction.
He should have provided a shepherd at least. That was. He sort of. I think he was waiting for the quick handball to go, and didn't work out. Oh.
Holding free kick. It's a surprising one.
I thought it was the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
He
too,
had his
but
arm
anyway.
over Keston's shoulder. Anyway.
Brian kicks it, and the boundary umpire will win.
I think I know who I'll be speaking to post-match, and that's Trent Bianco, the man who just laid the tackle then. As we've seen, his ball use is absolutely sublime, but he's also willing to do the tough stuff and lay hard tackles like we just saw.
Another player I've liked all day is Will Phillips in a lot of the action all day. Been terrific, Phillips.
Is he related to Tom Phillips at all, Peter?
No, he's not. I know it's surprising. There's always a Phillips at Oakleigh.
There's a lot of Phillipses. Yeah. Caught, tackled, dispossessed. They are on top of their game, the Chargers.
Didn't have a lot of room to move there. Hot potato, that one.
Giorgio. Giorgio Varjanis finds Noah Anderson.
They've got the switch if they want to, but it's a bit far out.
Good haircut on Noah. Noah kicks it to half forward. And there might have been a bit of interference there. Not paid. Sandringham under the pump. Lochnan gets it. Kicks laterally. Spots up his teammate. This is Blake O'Leary. O'Leary kicks to the city side of the ground. Ralph Smith just drops it on the second bite. Got a teammate there to back him up. Ralph Smith goes at it again. He's good, Rick. I like him. Now Oakleigh. They're on the charge. Kick at goal, and that is out of bounds on the full.
So, just with Sandringham bombing out today,
Hugo. Now, Rick, are you?
Yeah, I'm calling it now. Hugo Ralph Smith. What's
yeah, he's
the
a
feel
bit of
for
an
him?
Interesting one. He's probably a from the second round onwards, but he could be later. He's got inconsistencies. He's been good this final series, but yeah, he's certainly draftable.
Just does have a touch of class. That's what I like about him.
So his
and
dad
confident.
didn't play enough games for. He was at St Kilda and Hawthorn. Probably split it.
Oh, we've got a hold up here. Bit of wrestling going on.
But on
And
father's
free
son,
kick.
Finn McGuinness is the one who is eligible.
For the Hawks?
Hawks, yeah. So
He's been pretty good today as well.
yeah, he's had a good final series. So his first final was a little quiet, but other than that, the last 3 or 4 weeks he's had a good end, which is good for Hawks fans, not so good for Hawks recruiting officers.
50 metres. Just starting to unravel a tad.
Yeah.
Lachlan Jenkins will kick this from the goal
And
square.
I hate when no one goes on the mark.
No one on the mark.
I really hate that. I know the game's done, but it just shows just that lack of. Yeah. I don't like that.
Just lost their way.
Yeah.
His father was a good player, Scott McGuinness. I don't say that about many Hawthorn players, as you know. Not my favourite team, but his father was a great player, and mightn't have got a game in this Hawthorn team because he used to wear long sleeves.
Yeah.
No, now
Dangerous areas with Clarkson around, yeah.
Oakleigh, they march on. They are 15-7, 97. They lead by 63 points, 4-10-34. We are 13 and a half minutes in to the last quarter here. Following this game, we'll have the Eastern Rangers and the Gippsland Power to get our other team into the grand final. Up they go. Courtney can't get it. Now Bianco spins out of one into more trouble. Umpire says play on. It's just that tad of feeling. Umpire to throw it up. Right in the middle of Ikon. Perfect day for football.
Two very contrasting benches down at ground level. Sandringham very flat, and Oakleigh knowing that they've booked themselves a place in the grand final.
As you can imagine, back-to-back grand finals for some of these players. They played an epic last year where Dandenong got the chocolates.
I think Bianco just threw something out and told the runner to go grab it, whether it was a mouth guard or strapping.
We're in the forward pocket, Sandringham. It's intercepted. Ugle-Hagan got a handball away. Good work.
I'm glad you think so.
Watts goes out wide. He got it away, but he didn't get pinged. Could have got pinged for holding the ball. Oakleigh decided to go backwards to go forwards. Long, searching kick. They're looking for a big mark. Ugle-Hagan almost. Just stretched something there. Just felt that as he came to ground.
I reckon Bowie's been their best in this second half, particularly. Like he's been one of their best all game, but particularly the second half, he's been one of the few that have stepped up.
Wouldn't surprise me if the players start cramping up. As I mentioned, the sun has not been relenting all day.
They'll play on through Bergman. Now the Dragons. Now that's better delivery if they can take it. They got the crumbs. That's about it. And nice work by Phillips to Anderson. This will favour another good player in Lucas. He turns it over and play-ons are called. Intercept through Lochnan. Shergwin gets on the outside. and almost gets Bergman. He's had a pretty heavy knock in the meantime. Ball heading towards the boundary. Anderson trying to keep it in. Over the back it goes to the interchange. Shergren gives out the kick. Ball was thumped towards the boundary line. Not fully trapped, but there's a free kick to Phillips. Little push in the back. Will Phillips chips at half back to Schreiber. Another consistent game right throughout to Schreiber. They'll work it to the outer side.
Gee, they're on here.
They play on straight away through Guiney and get it out wide to Bianco. So Bianco at centre wing. Just misses Rowell there, and Rowell has to take on a few of them, but Sandringham with numbers should be able to clear. Still haven't got away yet, and a little chip kick to Mifsud. Inboard they go. They should be able to stream towards the full forward area. There's a kick downfield or off the ball.
Other way.
Off the ball, 80 metres away.
Players certainly cramping up down on the bench. We have Lachlan Jenkins and also Reef McGuinness both receiving some attention from the trainers with cramps in calves and thighs.
Oakleigh go laterally. Go very, very laterally. They've picked up Caden Schreiber on the left boot. Just puts a nice little drop pass in there. Finds Lucas. That's into a lot of trouble. Sandringham, got to make him pay, but he just pops the ball up. Too easy to defend. They're over the top of it, tries to kick it off the carpet. Scared to drag it in underneath him. Hard to punch the ball out. Eventually, Ralph Smith, good work. Phillips goes nowhere. Rowell just goes in, gets it, and handballs it out to get to a clearer spot. They pick it up. Kick sideways by Varajanis, and he finds Trent Bianco. He'll have leather poisoning, Trent Bianco. Kicks into the middle of the ground. I'd say there's a lot more whistle on play than in the last quarter. There wasn't in the first three quarters. They go wide. Sells the dummy. Kicks a skimmer, and Noah Anderson has marked this. He is marked at 49 metres out. He'll kick from 51.5. He's on a 30-degree angle, and distance will not be a problem.
This will be a good test of how good this boy kicks.
Yeah, he'll make the distance. I don't have any issue with.
No breeze down at ground level, so it should go straight through the middle.
Gee, she called it.
Good call.
He's a long kick. He'll definitely make it.
Confident call.
And he's run around anyway. Look at that. Bang.
That's pretty good. Oof. That's pretty good in my book.
Yep.
That's home. That was very good, Noah Anderson.
Yep.
He was, he's had a great game, as have his teammates from out there at Warrawee Park.
I reckon Gold Coast will like that.
Well, that's the other thing, Pete. 16-7, 103. They lead by 69 points, 4-10-34. And we are 20 minutes in.
There's a conversation starter, Pete.
Yeah.
Who are Gold Coast taking?
They'll take Rowell and Anderson once they get their priority pick, which we all know.
But as it stands at the minute, they've only got pick one.
Yeah, well, they take Rowell.
Yep.
I think, consistency. But I think most are going to be resigned to the fact they're getting two.
It'd be a pretty awesome get, wouldn't it? Two players you'd expect to be in their lineup.
Well, on the back of their ball last year.
Game, Rick.
Straight up.
What's so impressive about Anderson as well is his penetration in his kicking, certainly a long kick as he's demonstrated now.
He can hear what you're saying
He's
down there.
Yeah, he can.
He's right behind you.
Starting to cramp up a little bit.
You get it?
Going to go do a mid-game
He didn't
interview
like that.
Channel 7.
He didn't like that. Turned around. I'm not cramping, he said.
All right. Now the ball.
Yeah, they're pointing up at us now.
There is a report on the ground. Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything. Just as they sort themselves out, boys, we just want to, of course, mention our naming rights and principal partner, the NAB, Open Universities Australia, our education partner, digital partner, Telstra, apparel partner, Puma, as you can see by what I'm wearing today up in the box, and Rookie Me, our testing partner, and the Bar Counter, our nutrition partner, which clearly Rick and I have been participating in.
So this is a scary time. It looks like Schreiber had his number taken there, and they are in a grand final. So let's hope nothing too serious.
You don't often get suspended at this level too often, unless it's something pretty serious. So
we've seen a couple.
Yeah, we have. But there's
from Gippsland.
yeah, but there's a few that
Jack Leslie.
Yeah, there's a few that have been in the past that have been pretty. Yeah.
Ball back at centre half forward for the Dragons. Oakleigh trying to get it out there. McGuinness. Again, the pressure of Oakley's been outstanding. Can't get it away. They can't even find a couple of metres of space. But Oakleigh do, and it's taken away by Varagianis. Goes to centre wing. They'll try and keep it in, and they do the Dragons, and now they'll move it forward. Towards 50, there's only one player there, and that was Tommy Graham. He goes back inboard, and they'll work it further afield here. And nicely worked there to Mastras.
I reckon
they're just practicing this freezing the ball, icing the ball.
About 2 minutes left on the clock, and you see Anderson and Bianco there. I think they're just sort of giving them a bit of a rest, where I don't think they'd be able to rest Raoul even if they wanted to. He'd be like, no thanks, I'm going to run this one out.
Game out.
Yeah, he's a warrior. Here
Lucas, Raoul, what a kick.
What?
They spin round on the lead. Ugelnake just can't quite get there. Jumps on the footy. Stacks on the mill. And the umpire will come in and ball this up.
As a forward, when you're winning by heaps, obviously there's players throughout that like to wind it down the clock a bit. But as a forward who's kicked a few, you're keen to get going.
What is the clock?
23 minutes into the last quarter. Shadows of the post. They lead by 69 points. And now Oakleigh go forward. They are just doing as they want. Ball kicked to the hot spot. Plenty of Sandy players in there. They try to spit it out. Phillips, who's been terrific, just turns round, kicks.
Look at that.
That is superb.
And in heavy traffic.
It down again.
This is our Deadeye Dick.
Yep.
Cooper Sharman.
No, he used to have blue boots. He's changed his boots to more conservative black one.
All right.
Don't think we've seen the best of Sharman today.
No, but he makes the most of his opportunities. He's he's a put your glass down.
Looks a good player.
Yeah, he's got some talent. Great upside. Of course, he's coming late into the program. He hasn't been in the elite program, so
Pure black boots. Don't see that too often.
Bang, told you.
Straight as a die.
He's one of the ones you just pencil it in. He's not going to miss.
That moves them on to 17-7, 109. They lead by 75 points, 4-10-34. That's not a good read for the Dragons.
No, they're probably home from here, I'd say.
They've kicked 1 goal, 1 in the second half.
There's some hugs on the boundary.
1 goal, sorry, I put that wrong. Second half, they've kicked 1 goal, 5 in the second half. And the Chargers have now kicked 9 goals, 4. That's a big second half.
They go again. Dominant display by Oakleigh. Spinning out of that was Burns. Now Rowell. Looks like a likely number 1. Gets it further afield. McRae. Another nice type. They've got an endless array of talent here, the Oakleigh Chargers. But good defending there by Sandringham. Over the back it flips. McRae dribbles it out. He's got a loose man, but there's the siren. And Oakleigh Chargers have made their way into the grand final. 17-7, 89 to 4-10, 34. Excellent display by the Chargers. Were too good for the Dragons today here at Ikon Park.
So final score 17-7 to 4 goals 10. The goal kickers for Oakleigh, Hagen kicked 4, Graham 3, Anderson 3, Stone 2, Sharman 2, and 1 each to McRae, Stathopoulos, Jenkins. And for the Sandy Dragons, it is York with 2, Ralph Smith and Bergman 1.
Yeah,
For a quick chat.
All right, down on the ground we have Trent Bianco talking to Siobhan.
I'm down on the ground with the co-captain of the Chargers, Trent Bianco. First of all, you're into a grand final. How does it feel?
Yeah, that's unreal. I seriously wasn't expecting to come out on that far on top, but credit to us that we started hot early, and yeah, we pushed them right to the end.
You played in the grand final last year and unfortunately didn't get the chocolates. What have you learnt from that experience that you can now take into next week?
Yeah, it's just staying in the moment. I think that's probably last year we possibly had the better side, but we just didn't play to our full potential. We probably thought too far ahead, so it's just staying in the moment and yeah, just getting the job done.
Today was a comprehensive team victory. As captain, you must be really proud of your boys.
Yeah, it's unreal. Like I said, yeah, credit to us that we just put a full four-quarter performance on, and yeah, it'll be good fun week and hopefully get one better than last year.
And one of the things I did notice is Oakleigh really do like to play that fast ball movement style of footy. Is that something that you came into the game thinking you wanted to do?
Yeah, for sure. We like to try and have a balance between nice and controlled and smooth footy, but yeah, when we use our handball receives and run off half back and through the middle, we look quite dangerous.
And lastly, Jamal Hagen's a nice target to kick to up forward. He had a great game today.
Yeah, he's pretty handy. You just put it anywhere in his space and he does something with it most of the time, so yeah, he's good to have on your side.
Congratulations, good luck for next week.
Thanks a lot.
Well done, Siobhan. Yeah. And just quickly as we gather the second interview, your best players or what you came out of today, Pete and Rick?
Oh, I thought Bianco played a great game. He's in my top couple. I thought Will Phillips was brilliant most of the game, and I thought he was a leading player. I thought Schreiber back in defence, and Noah Anderson was terrific. Hagen and Graham, and also Ralph.
All right, down on the ground we have the goal kicker of the game, Jamara Hagen, and he's talking to Siobhan.
Just here. I'm down on the ground with Jamara Hagen. Congratulations, you're through to a grand final. First of all, how does it feel?
It feels good to get it through, grand final, especially my first year with Chargers. It's just great with all these boys, it's just another family.
So you didn't play in the grand final last year, but have you played in the grand final before where you can draw on other experiences?
I've played grand final for club a fair bit with South Warrnambool down at home. So this has been my first one for TAC. Oh, NAB League, yeah, sorry.
And also, it's been a great game of comprehensive performance from the Chargers. It's nice to get good service in the forward line from the likes of Raul Anderson, Bianco today.
It makes it a lot easier, yes it does, especially with our forwards as well. Make space and everything, so it helps everyone out.
And you're in a really good vein of form. Can you talk us through your set shot goal kicking and your marking? Because once you get on the lead, you're almost unstoppable.
Yeah, so if I get one early, I'm all right. But it's not just me; it's mainly the team. They give me the space, and we'll work together. Yeah.
Well, congratulations and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
Good work, Siobhan. That is the first preliminary final. The Chargers 17-7-109 have defeated the Dragons 4-10-34. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for the second preliminary final, Gippsland versus the Eastern Rangers.